Question 3 of my evaluation, I have to answer what I have learned from my audience's feedback. The information that I have gathered from questions 1 and 2 in my evaluation is what I'll be using to summarise what I believe my audience feedback is and what I can do to improve my media product I have created, and if I need to create a second draft. I decided to hold an interview with someone who may not be in our target audience down to age, but is in our target audience in gender, as he is a male, and therefore we were stereotypically targeting a more male target audience. So first of all, I wanted to know, how did my magazine challenge the conventions of a well-known magazine? And at this point, I showed him two photos, one of the magazine I had created and a second of Emperor, a well-known magazine. And he replied with saying that the colour scheme challenges the conventions of the other magazine, Emperor, as it was completely different and it was used very well, and therefore it would help convey the genre that the film was about, which was neo-noir. So therefore this is something I've done well, and that doesn't need changing or anything needs improving on my magazine. So therefore I was happy with this answer. Then I decided to ask him, how does my magazine conform to the typical conventions of a film magazine? And I was really looking for certain conventions that he may pick out, and I think he got most of them, such as he replied saying that it was a good layout, that all the conventions were in the right place and nothing seemed out of place or out of ordinary. So therefore it was easy to read for the audience, and therefore that is good feedback for me, as I know that my magazine looks professional. Also, he said that the image was taken well, as it was at a straight angle mid shot, which again is used in lots of different magazines and is very conventional. And this therefore shows that I have a professional view of what a magazine should look like. Therefore, this again is good feedback on what feedback I was looking for. The other thing I asked him was, how has my magazine been developed in terms of conventions from a typical film magazine? Now, this was an important question because it really made me understand what stands out in my magazine and what makes it unique from others, and therefore may be a unique selling point I have with my magazine. And he replied saying that by having a young cast on the front page, it creates a young target audience for my magazine. So therefore, I will have a younger audience buying the product, whereas other magazines that are there on the shelves at the moment have a lot of an older target audience. So therefore this helps my magazine stand out and show that it's been developed from these other magazines that are already out there, and which again was good feedback that I was looking for and really helped understand what I had achieved by using the photo I used. Now, my last question was probably most important out of all three of the questions that I'd asked previously, and this was, is there anything I could change to my magazine? And this therefore helped me see if anything that I had created was not liked, and if I needed to do a second draft. Now, he did come back with me with what he thinks I should change, so therefore I do need to create a second draft and improve my final piece. And these 2 points were, the first was the barcode and how it looks too big on the page. Therefore I need to shrink it in size and make it look more professional, so it looks like other magazines you would see on the shelf. He also suggested that the slogan where I've placed it could look slightly better from being on the side of the masthead to being below the masthead, so that is easier to read for the audience and therefore will help catch the eye of my magazine to the audience and therefore really sell my product. But then all of this feedback I have had from each question has really given me an insight into my magazine and what has worked well and what hasn't. Therefore, stuff that hasn't, I can improve on, and the stuff that I know has worked well, I can leave and be happy with my product and be happy with my end piece.